Hello guys, today we will learn how we can implement a Crud functionality using Laravel 9 and LiveWire, right? So basically we will build an app in which we will be able to create a task, update a task, retrieve all tasks and delete a particular task. In this way, we will be able to implement a Crud functionality using Laravel 9 and LiveWire. I've just created a new Laravel project, okay, and let me show you the Laravel version. This is a fresh installation of Laravel project, and right now, as you can see that it's the most latest version 9.50, okay, and this is the first look of uh, Laravel project once you create a new Laravel project, okay. Let's go to the project directory. Okay, so as you know that when we create a new fresh Laravel project, there is already a blade view file, welcome.blade.php. Let's remove it, Control A, and remove all the codes. First of all, replace it with the HTML basic layout. I am copying it from getbootstrap.com. Okay, and let's paste it here. So this is a basic HTML layout, HTML tag, head tag, and then title, body tag, right? And we will use Bootstrap to design our user interface. So let's copy the CSS, Bootstrap CSS, and put it in the header. And we will also need a Bootstrap JavaScript. Copy it from Bootstrap and put this Bootstrap JavaScript just before the body closing tag, right? So let's refresh the page. Yeah, that's fine. And let's see if there are any errors. Yeah, there are no errors. Okay, the next step is we need to create a migration. Let's do that. PHP artisan make, we will create a model and migration model and task -m, right? So this command has created a task model and a migration, create underscore tasks underscore table. Let's go to the migration file. Okay, we need 4 columns here, string, and one column is title, text with a column name description, and let's keep 3 due task due date. Okay, date and due date. We also need an enum data type column. Let's create one more column with enum data type, Okay, and enum data type, and its name is type, and it can have any of these three values, right? Now the next step is to run the migrations. Okay, so if you are using local environment like XAMPP or XAMPP, then first of all create a new database using PHP myadmin, and then write the database name here, and your database username here, and if you set a password for your localhost, type it here. Okay, but I am using Laravel Sail, so I don't need to make any changes in .venv, and neither I need to manually create a new database, because Laravel Sail will automatically communicate with the MySQL workbench and will create the required database. I don't have to do it manually. Okay, now the next step is to run the migration commands. Let's do that. uh, PHP artisan migrate. All our migrations have executed successfully, and yes, and the next step is install the LiveWire, right? Let's do that. So our LiveWire has installed successfully in the Laravel project, and okay, so this is a simple welcome blade uh, HTML template, right? Just go to Bootstrap. Let me show you. Copy this HTML layout, okay, and we will use Bootstrap to develop our user interface, so we also need to copy Bootstrap CSS. Let's copy this one, and we also need to include Bootstrap JavaScript. Let's copy Bootstrap script, and you can also install Bootstrap using npm. Okay, and the next step is we need to define LiveWire styles in the head tag. LiveWire styles, and we also need to include LiveWire scripts. We need to include LiveWire style and LiveWire script in every page where we want to use LiveWire. Keep that in mind. Paste here LiveWire scripts. Now we are ready to use LiveWire, right? And the next step is to create a LiveWire component. Let's do that. So PHP artisan make LiveWire. We are creating a new LiveWire component, and let's call it task. So we want to create a task LiveWire component. No. Okay, once we run the LiveWire component command, it creates two files. As you can see, task.php, in which we will define the logic to save the data, to retrieve the data, to update the data, and a task.blade.php where we will define our user interface, right? Let's go to task.blade.php. So LiveWire, go to the live directory, and here is our task component. Let's see if our LiveWire is working properly. This is first LiveWire component. Fine. And let's include the LiveWire component in our blade file. This is how we include LiveWire, and our component name is task. So this message will display if our LiveWire has successfully been configured in our Laravel project, right? And because I'm using Laravel Sail, I also have to manage permissions. Let's see. LiveWire component did not load. Let's see what's wrong here. And welcome.blade LiveWire, we have defined it correctly. And let's see. Let's refresh it. Yeah, so we can see the message. This is first LiveWire component. It means our LiveWire has been successfully configured, installed, and configured in our Laravel project, and we are free to use LiveWire now. Okay, so now go to Bootstrap and copy a search for tables. Okay, let's maybe copy this first table from Bootstrap website. This is Bootstrap 5.3, and let's copy it here. And one thing more we can do is in the welcome.blade.php, let's define a container and close this div. Here, right? And remove it, we don't need it. This is our LiveWire component which we are loading into welcome.blade.php. Let's go to task.blade.php and let's see. And in the task.blade.php we just copied a table template. Yeah, it's working fine. And maybe let's give some margin on the top, empty_4. Yeah, now it's a bit below. That's fine. And let's say table striped maybe. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now let's go to the LiveWire class component class task.php. Okay, so here there is already a function defined which will return the view, as you can see. Okay, let's define here a public property dollar uh, tasks. Okay, and then we can say dollar this into tasks is equal to, we need to import the task model here. Okay, task model. Yeah, that's a conflict. Don't know what we can do here, because the task is also, and then the model also comes with the task. Let's do it. What's we can do? Task all. Okay, and think let's do it like this maybe. Yeah, because the task model was matching with the class name, that's why I have to remove it and include it like this. Okay, and so now dollar tasks will be directly available. We don't need to pass it here, return to the view. These tasks will be available in the liveware.task. Let's go to liveware.task, which is here. Okay, and now define um, so we will have task title, task type, task description. Let's task due date, and let's remove all these. We will use now for each loop to go through the data returned by the server. So one row is enough, and yeah, td for each. So the beauty of LiveWire is that we can just type the code as we do in the blade. So because this is a blade, the LiveWire component is a blade file. That's why we can uh, that's why we can enjoy the code in LiveWire. That's that makes a huge difference between Vue.js, React.js, and LiveWire. For a Laravel developer, LiveWire is quite convenient to use, and almost you can achieve anything which you can achieve in Vue.js or React.js. I think so, in 95% cases. Dollar tasks as dollar task. So we feel like that we are using the blade. the task title, right? And type, title type, description, and due, yes, yeah, due date, copy it from here. Yeah, and for each, right? And I think we are good to go. Let's see what happens. Yeah, because there is no data in the database, so we don't see anything. So let's do one thing more. We just create a factory to put some dummy data into the tasks table. So php artisan make factory, call it task factory, right? Yeah, sounds good. So let's go to the task factory to put some dummy data. Let's copy something from the user factory, which is already defined by the by default when we create a new Laravel project. And let's copy and then replace the content. Okay, cancel, we don't need it. Okay, so the first column in our task table is title. So let's replace it with title. And the second is uh, description. Where is our task factory? Yeah, description. And let's say it. Yeah, and then let's copy it from, yeah, we already have defined the task factory in another project. Let's copy it. So yeah, that's it. We have defined the 4 columns and their values in the task factory. Okay, let's go to database.php. Sorry, database seeder. And now we need to copy this, and here we need to replace it with task, right? Let me zoom out so you can see clearly. Okay, so this command will create task 10 uh, this command line of code will insert 10 records into tasks tables. Okay, so let's run the migration command with the seed php artisan migrate and refresh dash dash seed. So it will drop the database tables, create the database again, and then it will insert some dummy data into the tasks table. Title does not have a default value. Let's see what's wrong. Uh, maybe up because we created some new file and I need to manage the permissions because I'm using Laravel Sail for Docker environment. And where is task factory? Everything looks fine here. Okay, then let's go again here. Unknown column disk. Okay, yeah, so our column name is description, not disk, right? So let's run php artisan migrate refresh data seed again. Yeah, our migrations have executed again, and as you can see that seeding database record has also been inserted. So now if we refresh, we will see some records here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so the next step is uh, we need to create a task and then we will save it. Okay guys, the next step is to create a form so that we can create a task and save it into the database. Okay, so for this we will create a new file in the LiveWire directory. Okay, create a new file in the LiveWire directory named as create.blade.php. Okay, and in this newly created file we will just copy and paste a bootstrap form. Okay, let's copy this bootstrap form to save the time. Okay, so let me zoom out so you can see it clearly. That's it. Okay, this is a simple bootstrap form as you can see, and as you know that we will also handle the input validations in the task component class. Okay, and uh, when there will be error against any input, we can fetch it back. Okay, through this format. Okay, for title, for example, if the input is title, then we will do it like this. Okay, and for every input, if there is an error, Laravel will return a dollar message object to display the error. Okay, this is how we will display. Similarly, for the description of the task, we will, if there will be error, okay, then this part of the code will be executed. So against every input error, okay, Laravel returns you a dollar message object. Okay, so right now we have two inputs. Okay, and we need two more inputs. Right now we have title and description, but we also need uh, total there are four inputs. Okay, due date and task type. Okay, let's copy it from another project. Okay, let's copy the select. Let's remove v model because this is not a Vue.js project. Okay, and yeah, let's copy keep in mind we have created the same app using the Vue.js. Okay, let's remove vmodel because this is not a Vue.js project. Okay, and so similarly we need to display errors here. Okay, and we can do it like this: add error, right? And the input will be due date span. Okay, class text, and then dollar message. And we also need to show error for the task type if there is, and at error it would be type, the name of the input. Okay, yeah, there is, that's all. Okay, so now go to our component class, task component class. Okay, so we need to define few new public properties here. Okay, uh, because we will be binding our input attributes with this component class properties, public properties. Okay, so what we will need is dialer. You know, we have dialer title, and we have description, dollar, and type, task type, and dollar due date, right? Okay, that's it. And now let's go to the create form and bind the input attributes with the uh, LiveWire task component class. Okay, so how we bind data attributes? Like in Vue.js we use vmodel, but here we need to wire and bind. Let me see. Let's see. I forgot the syntax. Yeah, wire model, sorry. So instead of vmodel we need to use wire model. Okay, and here uh, so here this is for input is for title, so we need to bind it with the dollar title public property which we defined in the task component class. Okay, let's bind it with the, let's copy it and remove the dollar. Let's copy it, and this is text area is for description. Okay, and we need to bind it with the description property which we declared in, let's copy it also. Okay, and then we also need to bind the task type wire model is equal to bind it with the type public property, and similarly bind the due date here. uh, okay, so we have banded all the inputs with the public properties which we defined in the task component class. Okay, so these input values will be accessible for us here in the task component class. Okay, and yeah, let's next step is define a function, store function here. Strong here. Okay, so to save the time, let's copy the store function. Okay, and let's paste it here. Okay, so here we need to include two more inputs. Okay, which is type, and the fourth input is due date. Okay, and required, and let's add few more validations. Minimum 3 characters for title. Okay, and for description minimum 6 characters, and it should be a date. Okay, and then okay, we need to change it with the task model class. Okay, okay, so here we are to store the data we are using mass assignment way. Okay, so we need to make a change in our task model, models task.php, and here protected, guarded, so basically when we define this uh, protected dollar guarded as an empty array, this means all the uh, columns of task table are mass assignable. Okay, if you don't know about the mass assignment concept in Laravel, just go to Laravel website and see what the mass assignable is. If you, if we will not include this line, then we will not be able to uh, we will not be able to store the data into the task table like this using a single start. Then we have to save, use the save method, and we have to define like dollar this title and description type, due date separately. Okay, and we have to write 3-4 more lines, but when we use the mass assignment technique, it saves over time. Okay, so uh, this will validate the data, and if there are no input validation errors, a task will be saved into the database and a message will be thrown back. Okay, so we also need to let's remove this. We also need to show, and here it's task. we also need to show this message. Okay, let's do that. And let's define a div. Just save a time. Okay, let's copy it. So when the task is will be created, there will be a session available with the name of message. Okay, and we will display it like this. Let's create a div alert alert info, and let's copy this. Okay, so here we are checking if there is a session with the name message, then display this block of the code. Okay, and then we are uh, displaying the message stored in the uh, session. Okay, okay guys, the next step is to go to task.blade.php. Okay, and includes here create file. Okay, includes the create file, create dot blade dot php, and let's refresh the page. View create dot blade dot php not found. Yeah, because the reason is because create is in the uh, LiveWire directory, so it will be LiveWire. Yeah, let's refresh it. It's still not found. Let's see what's wrong here. Okay guys, we don't need to include .blade.php here. Just keep it liveware.create. Okay, and let's refresh it. Okay, and syntax error unexpected end of file. Okay, so something is wrong with the create file in which we included a bootstrap form. Okay, okay, the thing is we have included that error, but we forget to add the end error. Okay, and similarly in the due date we need to add end error. Okay, let's refresh it, and yeah, now our form is displaying properly. Let's add some space here. Okay, there is no gap between description, task type, and due date. Let's do that. Okay, go to the form. Okay, and add here bootstrap class mb 4 rmb, let's see it empty top margin. Okay, and similarly add here empty 3. Let's refresh it. Yeah, now there is a gap. Okay, and another thing is, let's move this condition above this. Okay, right now you see an empty div is appearing. Okay, so it should not display when there is no error. Okay, so move the div if condition there here, and if after the div. Okay, now when there is no error, this div will not appear. Yeah, and on the top there is no gap. Let's add that. So what we can do is m margin top, and let's make it 4. Okay, we are good to go. Okay, and let's try to save the empty task. Let's see what it does. Okay, uh, the form did not submit, but we should be able to see the errors. Okay, let's try to submit the form again. Let's finish the required here, because we already have a validation on the back end, so we don't need to restrict user from the front end. Okay, as soon as we click it, yeah, we forget to include something here. Okay, on the button click, okay, here we need to wire click. Okay, dot prevent, and we forget we declare the function here, but we did not include it. We need to call the function here store, right? Now when we will, and let's make it create task, right? Now on when we will click this button, create button, it will call this function. Okay, as we have binded it with the store function, which we defined in the uh, task component class. Okay, let's try it again. It's still not working. Let's see what's wrong here. Okay guys, the problem is in the code. We add here, at is not required. I mistakenly added it. Okay, let's refresh it. Okay, and let's try to insert the data again. Okay, now we can see the errors. Okay, and if we put item, let's see, there is no error. But in the validation we have made it required minimum 3, but it's still not. Yeah, so there are 3. So if we do it like this, okay, so the title must be asleep recruiters. Okay, let's create a new task. Task 1, task 2, task 1 description. Okay, task type is bug. Okay, and let's add due date. Okay, let's try to save the task. Okay, and your task has been added on the last line. As you can see that the task which we added has been added here. Okay, but we did not see the message. What might be the reason for that? because the problem is the page doesn't refresh. That's why. Okay. Okay, guys, one more thing is here is the task has been saved successfully and we can also see it here. Okay, but the input values are still in the form. Okay, so we need to define a one more function here, and let's say it and say it reset input. Okay, so copy all the input fields. Okay, let's make it like this title, empty string. Okay, the purpose of this function is to reset input fields once the form has been submitted and a task has been created successfully. Type due date. Okay, now go to the store function. Okay, and once the task has been created, let's reset the input fields by calling the function which we created below. Okay, now let's refresh it. Let's change the query here. Order by ID and get. So the last task which we will create will appear on the top of the table, right? Yeah, let's create a new task 3 task. Okay, yeah, the description must be at least 6 characters. Okay, task 3 description, right? Yeah, a new task has been created. Okay, and a success message is also appearing, right? Keep in mind, uh, I have moved away the success message from welcome.blade.php to task.blade.php. Okay, so in the task.blade.php we are displaying message here instead of the welcome.blade.php. If you will try to show this message in the welcome.blade page, it will not appear because welcome.blade page will not update until we refresh the page, while the LiveWire component updates automatically without page refresh. Okay, the next step is we need to create the update and delete operation, and for this we need to create edit and delete button here first. Let's do that. Okay, go to the task.blade.php view file. Okay, and here let's create a new th and call it actions, and then create a new tds here too. Okay, and here let's create a button Okay, and okay, and call it edit. What's wrong? Edit, close button, and then close td, and then again copy the button, Control V, okay, and call it delete, and here make it danger. Okay, let's check if it's working right or not. Okay, here now we can see the edit and delete button. Now we will need to define the functions first in the task component class, and then we will call the functions on the click event of these edit and delete buttons. First of all, let's define the uh, edit and function. Okay, public function edit, okay, and we will also need to id, and then let's copy it, v, and but we will need to replace it. It will not be a string. Okay guys, during the edit operation, first we also need to know which post we will update. Okay, so let's first find the post. Okay, task, sorry, task find, we find the task which we want to update, dollar id. Okay, now dollar this into title will be dollar, so basically this is the input. Okay, and then we are assigning the value of the input to the task title in the database. Similarly, let's copy it, task description, type, and due date, right? And let's create another property and call it dollar update mode. Okay, so basically the purpose of this property would be to detect whether we're trying to create a new task or we want to update a particular task. Okay, so this up, update mode property will have either uh, true or false value. Okay, So here is equal to false. No, it would be required after the, I think, update operation. Okay, here we can say dollar this update mode is equal to false, right? And now we need to call the uh, we also need to define the update function. Okay, let's copy it and paste it, make it update, and we need to change it here. Before changing this, we need to make a change in the edit function. Okay, first we have to declare another public property. Okay, let's declare another public property, task underscore id. Okay, basically during the edit process we will have access to the task id and we will set it here. So dollar this is the public property which we just declared, and then we will set its value to the dollar id, the id which we will receive in the parameter. Okay, when we will click the edit button, we will send the call this function and send the id of the task. Okay, and then we are setting the task underscore id property to this id. Okay, and then what we will do this, and we will access this id in the update function. Okay, yeah, and then we don't need this. Okay, we can copy this validation rules from the store function. Okay, and then say task update function. Okay, we need to set let's copy this into title, and then we write and then due date, and let's close it. And yeah, then we need to return the session message as we did, and we also need to reset input values. Okay, so after the update operation is successful, we will reset the input values as we did in the store function. Okay, I'm just copied it from the store function. Okay, this will reset. We are calling the reset input function which we defined earlier, and here we need to task has been updated. Okay, successfully. And we also need to set here, once the update operation is successful, we need to is equal to false. Okay, and we need to make one more change. Okay, remove it from here and remove this setting, and let's make update mode false. Okay, yeah, that's it. During the edit function we need to make the update function true. Okay, this into update mode is equal to true, right? And then okay, we are good to go, and then go to the user interface in the task.blade.php. Okay, and here on the edit button we need to call on the click event. Okay, once the edit button is clicked we need to call the uh, edit. Okay, and we also need to pass the id here, dollar task id. Okay, close the bracket. Okay, let's check if edit is working or not. Okay, if we click the edit button, the old values will appear here. Yeah, as you know that if we click task 2, yeah, edit function is working properly. The next thing we need to do is, where is the, yeah, so here we just need one change. Okay, if updated, what's the property, let's see here. Yeah, if update will be true, then uh, we will show the edit button. Okay, at else, and then and if, instead of making two separate forms for create and update, okay, we are using the single form to create and update. Okay, because of just this condition. Okay, this single condition making it possible, and here we need to make it update task, right? And yeah, yeah, and when the update button will appear we need to call the update function here. Okay, if the update mode will be false, then create task button will be appear. Okay, so it means that as soon as we will click the edit button, you know that uh, this function edit function will be called. Okay, and here updated mode will be true, and that's why update uh, here, because of this condition, will be true, and update task button will appear. Let's try it out. Okay, here we go. Right now you see it's a create task button, and the input uh, are empty. Okay, there are no values in the form. Okay, as soon as we click on the edit form, the previous values of the relevant task will appear here. For example, right now if we click task 3, okay, all these values will be appear here. Okay, let's click it. Okay, that's a beauty. Okay, even the select is appearing correctly. Okay, so if we click here, yeah, epic is appearing, it's working fine. Let's edit it. Task 2, edit, task 2 description, edit it and make it task, and make the due date 8 and let's update. Okay, something is wrong here. Okay, no problem. Maybe, yeah, we don't need a parameter in the update function, so just remove it. Okay, press the edit button. Yeah, okay, let's edit. Task 3, make edit. Task 3, edit it, make it epic and 7. So this line will update once the task is updated, the first line. Okay, let's click it. Yeah, task has been updated successfully. That's, and as you can see it has been updated. Okay, task 3 edit. Okay, let's look. Now the next task is we need to delete the tasks. Let's do that.